we're here at the Wickliffe Mounds State Historic Site. Nearly 1,000 years ago, this village was home for Native Americans of the prehistoric Mississippian culture. Peaceful farmers, these mound-building Indians lived throughout the Ohio and Mississippi River valleys. Exhibits at the Wickliffe Mounds Museum interpret the culture of the Mississippian people and the scientific discipline of archaeology. Research continues to provide important information about this archaeological site and its history. Operated by the Kentucky Department of Parks, Wickliffe Mounds has been designated as a Kentucky Archaeological Landmark and is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. King Mounds, ancient buried city, site of an ancient religious and commercial center of the mound builder, approximately 1,000 years old, situated on the only high ground at the confluence of the Mississippi and Ohio rivers. Tombs, temples, altars, jewels, dwellings, tools, etc. were uncovered. Excavations started October 2nd, 1932 for education and posterity. All right, this is a bird's eye view of the Wickliffe Mounds. Although Wickliffe Mounds is smaller than many other Mississippian sites, most of these Indian villages were laid out in a similar pattern, usually located near a river or creek. These villages might include any number of platform mounds grouped around an open plaza, which was used for public gatherings. So right now we are here. There's the plaza, a platform mound, the cemetery mound, and then these were living areas. The history of a mound. In 1984, Wickliffe Mounds conducted an excavation into the site of this mound. The goal of this excavation was to collect information on the structure of the mound. Radiocarbon dating revealed two major mound building phases and several periods of smaller mound growth. And there's the structure of the mound. The ceremonial mound, or Mound A. This is the largest mound on the site. It was named Mound A because it was the first mound excavated by Fang King in 1932 and was built by the Mississippian Native people beginning in the 1100s AD to elevate the main ceremonial building. Excavations in the 1930s removed the center of this mound, much like the Chief's Mound, or Mound B. In the 1980s, the exposed excavation inside the ceremonial mound had to be filled in to stabilize the mound. The mound was built in at least 6 stages up into the mid-1300s when the village was abandoned. Based on evidence from excavations in 1932 and 1984 to 1985, Wickliffe Mounds archaeologists do not believe that people ever lived on this mound. The mound and the building on top of it probably served as a special and sacred ceremonial area and the center of economic, political, and religious activity. We are at the Wickliffe Mounds State Historic Site, and this marker is for the Chief's Mound, Mound B. 2 platform mounds at Wickliffe Mounds, Mounds A and B, were built in successive stages over a period of about 200 years. A cross-section of either mound would reveal a structure much like that of a layer cake. Mound B, the Chief's Mound, is the smaller of the two. The top of the mound is flat, and there were 4 sides to this mound. This mound was excavated in 1932, revealing floor features that showed evidence of the first house built on this mound in the early 1100s AD. Excavations in the mound have shown that a family lived on top of this mound. This appears to be the only residential mound on the site, and probably was the home of a chief's family. The excavations through the center of Mound B exposed a post-hole pattern of the original building on this spot, indicative of an elite family, possibly the first chief's house. There were several layers in the mound as they were recorded in the 1930s. The layers of soil, called stratigraphy, are the superposition of archaeological deposits one upon another. The relationship indicated by stratigraphy They throw these big words at me. You don't know how I am. Provides a relative system of dating archaeological materials and is important in establishing cultural sequence in an area. Those deposits or levels that are deeper in the ground are said to be older than deposits that are closer to the surface. The north side of the mound is what Dr. Kit Wessler, the archaeologist who studied the site extensively from 1984 to 2015, called the Chief's Yard. He concluded that many activities, such as feasts, took place in this area based upon artifact distribution analysis. Thane King, owner of the site, 1932 to 46, erected a building much like the Lifeways building on top of this excavation of 1932. Displays of the stratigraphy and mound construction were the exhibit themes. Damage to the structure was a safety concern, and the building was demolished. The mound was restored to its original shape in 2016. So this is a picture of the excavated site in the 30s with the post hole features you can see around the edges there. Burial mound, Mound C. Native American Indians of the Mississippian culture were buried in this cemetery mound sometime in the AD 1200s. First excavated in 1932 by owner Colonel Thane King, the mound was referred to as Mound C. A building was constructed over the exposed burials and placed on display for many decades. In 1991, the remains were taken from public view out of respect to the Native American Indians and to be in compliance with federal laws that protect Indian burial mounds. Plastic replicas of the burials were then put on exhibit in the cemetery building. In 2011, after many years of consultations with Native American tribes and research collaborations with archaeologists, Kentucky State Parks reburied the remains in this mound in partnership with Murray State University archaeologist Dr. Kit Wessler and with the Chickasaw Nation overseeing the process. The building was dismantled and the mound was restored. And there's another sign here. I'm not going to read all of this one, but it gives more details about the burial mound, Mound C, and some of the research that has been done. And because of the federal law known as the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act, that protected Native American burial places, this mound, all remains that were on exhibit were taken off exhibit, and then eventually they reburied everybody here in conjunction with the Native American tribes and archaeologists and other people. The mound has been restored to what it looked like when the Mississippian people first built it. The length, how tall were the people that were buried here? The lengths of long bones that are related to a person's height, measuring the average man was 5'6" and the average woman was about 5'3", which is my height, and that was very similar. They had a lifespan. 3 out of 10 children died at birth. Those who survived had, for women, about 35 years, and men could live about 42 years. And there were 2 burial types here. Extended position with their heads to the west and their legs to the east, but some bones were buried in bundles, possibly after being on a scaffold or in a charnel house. And there's a drawing of what it may have looked like. So that's the cemetery, the burial mound. So here at Wickliffe Mounds, State Historic Site, it's a great thing to give children an introduction to archaeology. Murray State University archaeologists and students conducted excavations on the Wickliffe Mounds archaeological site from 1984 to 2004. The project had several goals, primarily to understand the excavations that were done in the 1930s by Thane King and to add new information by using modern methods to excavate in areas not yet studied. The 16 numbered posts around the site are placed in areas that were excavated. Although the areas excavated were small, each year provided answers to some questions and contributed to a better understanding of the village and how it changed through time. Preservation of the Wickliffe Mounds site is a long-term goal, and the site is registered with the Kentucky Heritage Council, Kentucky Archaeological Survey, and Office of the State Archaeologist. Wickliffe Mounds is on the National Register of Historic Places and a designated Kentucky archaeological landmark. So here they have all of this map, and they have these little signposts all over that are numbered, and you can see where on this map. So we did not walk around to all of these, but they all mark an area that was excavated. But this is the ceremonial mound that we did, the chief's mound, and the burial mound. And these little markers are all over the location. And then it says on this marker, tour of Wickliffe Mounds. Wickliffe Mounds is the location of a Native American village of the Mississippian mound building culture. And it goes on to talk about who occupied it, why, sometime in the 1300s they abandoned it. The researchers are still working on why. This site was first excavated back in the 1930s when highway construction work destroyed the south end of the village. Numerous artifacts were uncovered at that time, and a businessman from Paducah, Fang King, purchased the site and began excavating the mounds, opening the site as a tourist attraction. And the site changed owners several times through the hospital, and the Lifeways Museum exhibit building covers an area that was excavated and has exhibits that explain the archaeological excavations of the 1930s and the Mississippi and Indian mound building culture that once occupied this site. And scientific research has revealed important information about the archaeology and the Mississippian people here. It's registered archaeological historical site. So there's a lot going on here. If you get the chance to come to this site, I wish we had more time to spend here, but there's that Lifeways building over there that covers where some work has been done on the living areas of these people. Again, over there on the far side is the burial mounds. Right here close to me is the chief's mound, and they're getting ready for a big event here. But over there is the ceremonial mound, and they have a museum and gift shop, so there's a lot going on. So put this place on your to-go list.